Okay, so my Mount Pyre tag went really well, and I think that I planned so much for it, and it went so well that like I didn't get to talk about all of the things that I had thought about or all of the things that I had planned for, and I feel like kind of a fraud because it went so well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch this turn by turn, and we're gonna we're gonna I'm gonna show what the line would have been for each one of them for each turn. So turn one is free, right? Um, Turn was free. Um, I'm gonna be drawing like some diagrams so that it's a little bit easier to visualize. But turn one, we do this, and we do this, and everyone dies, right? I don't know why it's drawing like that. Oh, we're on the wrong setting. Okay. So yeah, muck goes boom, and everyone dies, right? Pretty straightforward. Not very complicated. Not very difficult to visualize, but after that, it gets a little bit more difficult to explain. And I didn't really explain everything that could have happened on turn two because, like, you can't control it, right? But I think that it's worth mentioning because I had a plan for most of these scenarios, which is why I think it's cool. Why I think that Hitmontop was so cool. So, on this turn, there is one of 6 things that can happen. I'm gonna go into calcs for this, and I'm gonna show some small details that I think are relevant. So first off, I guess we only really need to get him on top here. He was level 78. So on turn 1, like I said, there are 6 things that can happen. I'm going to go over each of them and what I would have done in each scenario. So the first thing is that, so we are faking out Rotom. Rotom cannot do anything on this turn, no matter what. It flinches. That's part of why I liked Hitmontop so much. Shell's Rhyperior has a slow kill on both of these slots with Stone Edge and high horsepower, right? So I can't control what he does. I can only do me, you know what I'm saying? So he kills this guy. He kills one of these 2 guys. So that's 2 options. Dragulge, we are not controlling what this Dragulge does. So Dragulge is 50-50 to do highest damaging move on either Rhyperior or Hitmontop, Sludge Bomb or Focus Blast. Yeah, it is Focus Blast. I said Aura Sphere in the video, but yeah, it's Focus Blast. yeah. So those are four things that can happen, and then this is the last thing that can happen. So those are so let's go over it again. Rhyperior into either of these slots, kills either of these slots. Dragulge, highest damage move into either of these slots. So that's four scenarios. And then the last two are if Dragulge protects. Dragulge protects. Rhyperior can either hit into the protect or kill Rotom. Right. So I'm gonna like go over these in order of like worst to best. So worst, I think, would have been Dragulge attacks into Hitmontop, and then Rhyperior kills Rotom. If this had happened, actually this isn't that bad. Okay, so maybe this is the second worst, because we kind of saw what happens when Rhyperior kills Rotom. The only difference here is that, so if this had happened, we would have been showing Dragulge a fast kill and Stakataka a slow kill. And we wouldn't have been able to close combat Stakataka safely, so we would have been relying on Rhyperior to lock in on one of those two. But after that turn, Rhyperior would have had a kill on both of them, so we could have just detected. Right, we would have been in kill range from both. We would have detected. Rhyperior would have gotten a kill, and then Sharpedo would have come in, and we probably would have Mach Punched on the way out and let Hitmontop die. That's what we would have done in that scenario. So that's scenario one. Is that Rhyperior kills this guy, Dragulge kills Hitmontop. Stakataka comes in, we detect, we let Hitmontop, we let Rhyperior get a frag, and then we Hitmontop Mach Punches Shark to get some damage on the way out, and then we go into Conk. So that's scenario one. The absolute worst case scenario. So I'll talk about the Stone Edge miss possibility in a little bit. Second worst scenario is Dragulge attacking. Well, I mean, second worst scenario is Hitmontop is sorry. Second worst scenario is Dragulge protects. I mean, I'm just like, this is kind of arbitrary. Like, I'm just kind of ranking them as I thought about them. Second worst scenario is Dragulge protects, and Rhyperior attacks into the protect, and no one dies, and like nothing happens on the turn. In that scenario, we would have on the next turn we would have Mach Punch kill Rotom to prevent screens, and then we were basically in the same scenario. And we would have hoped that on that turn, Rhyperior high horsepowered here. If it had Stone Edge Dragulge, we could have had a kill with Mach Punch not Mach Punch, with Ice Punch on Conkeldurr afterwards. But this would have been a pretty bad scenario. Maybe even worse than the one that I just mentioned. I think this one sometimes leads to us wiping, because it would have been Stakataka in. I guess it wouldn't have been that bad. Stakataka would have been in. We would have, like, after we killed Rotom, but we could have potentially taken damage from here, so we wouldn't have been able to get close combat. Because, like, on the turn 3 in this scenario, Dragulge is still random which side it targets. It could also double protect in that scenario. Like, that's not impossible, but like, it gets less likely. We probably would have still clicked close combat into Stakataka and prayed, basically. So yeah. The next scenario is right. So all of the scenarios where Rhyperior kills Rotom first, except for the one that we got, are pretty bad. So the next scenario that I'm going to talk about is Rhyperior kills Rotom and Dragulge attacks into Hitmontop. This would have been pretty bad. As you saw, Sludge Bomb does about like 40% like 55%, somewhere around there. Um, in that scenario, where Rotom is dead and Dragalge attacks Hitmontop, as you saw, full HP Rhyperior gets Stack Attacker. The problem is, so this is pretty similar to the one where Dragalge protects, and this is pretty similar to the one that we got, right? Which we'll talk about later. But in this scenario, Stack Attacker would be on the field for fast out damage onto Rhyperior. We would have detected and let Rhyperior get a frag, and then we would have played that out from there. We probably would have Mach Punched on the way out, because then on the turn 4, on the turn after we detect, it'll be either Dragalge or Stack Attacker and Sharpedo, and both of those are weak to Mach Punch, and we would have just needed Shell to clutch up. This is a pretty bad scenario. Next worst is, I guess, Rhyperior kills Dragalge, and Dragalge attacks Rhyperior. That one actually wasn't that bad. So if Dragalge attacks Rhyperior, and then Rhyperior kills Dragalge, again, Rotom is like here after the fake out. So in this situation, Rhyperior is going to be like 50% and dead to Sharpedo, but so full HP Hitmontop, or like 90% Hitmontop, gets Sharpedo here. So Sharpedo would have been on the field. In this scenario, Sharpedo wouldn't have had a kill yet before it megas, but it still would have been Sharpedo for fast out damage, I think. No, I know, because we had a fast kill and Stack Attacker. If it's looking at the Hitmontop slot, it's Sharpedo here. In this scenario, Rhyperior is baiting a fast kill from Sharpedo, right? So in this scenario, we would click Mach Punch to kill Rotom, and we would let Rhyperior die, and then on the next turn, it would be Stack Attacker and Sharpedo here. We would have clicked Close Combat into Stack Attacker, and we let Venusaur attempt to kill the Sharpedo. And if we die, we die, right? So that's the third best. I think I've explained 4 so far. I guess I don't know if I talked about the scenario where, I don't know if I've covered every scenario. I'm not sure. So the best scenario, and the one that I got, is that, well, actually, what I think is the best scenario is actually Rhyperior kills Dragalge, and so I think the one that gives us the best win chances is the one that we just talked about, where Rhyperior kills Dragalge, Dragalge attacks Rhyperior, and we get to leave that interaction at full health, and we get Mega Shark. I think that gives us the best win chances, because like leaving this guy on the field is pretty difficult, because the whole reason I brought Conkeldurr here is because it has Ice Punch, and he can finish this guy off if Rhyperior doesn't, right? So I think I've covered every scenario. Okay, let me think about it. We covered here. Rhyperior killing Rotom, and Rhyperior taking a move here. That gets Sharpedo early, because Sharpedo will see Fast Kill, which isn't bad. That's a pretty good scenario. If Sharpedo sees Fast Kill on Rhyperior, we're free to Close Combat it. The problem is that Dragulge will be on the field still, and that's kind of a bad scenario in itself. Is if Dragulge is still alive. So this was not a great scenario because Shark will be out. It'll see fast kill. It'll waterfall. It'll take the fast kill. We have the option to kill the Shark, but then with close combat, we'll be -1/-1, and we'll be showing Dragulge a kill. So in that scenario, we would have sacked him on top to Dragulge the next turn. We probably would have Mach Punched Sharpedo on the way out. And then we would have gone into Conk and Ice Punched Dragulge and pray to God that Venusaur clutches up. So that one was a pretty bad one. And then the last scenario, which is the one that I got, which is maybe the best scenario, maybe not. I think the one that we talked about 2 turns ago, where where these two attack each other, is actually probably the best scenario. But the best scenario that I got, the one that we got was that Rhyperior, oops, that's not what we're talking about. Rhyperior, sorry. The one that we got is that Rhyperior kills Rotom and Dragulge protects for nothing. Neither of us take any damage, and we leave this matchup at basically full HP. I take a Life Orb chip, obviously, in all of these scenarios. We needed to be, so just to go over the calcs, we needed to be Life Orb, and we needed to be level 78 with max attack to do this with Hitmontop. And even then, level 78 fake out Mach Punch with Life Orb is like a 99% range. I didn't think the third candy was worth this range, and as we showed, we didn't even end up needing it. So it was like a possibility that we wouldn't even need to have candied or scaled, but we did it anyway for assurance, for like this 99% range. And I was fine sending the 99% instead of the 100% because it would have cost an extra candy. And like the whole point of this line is that it was like a reasonable use of resources instead of what I would have done with Skuntank, which was like 2 candies, a scale, and a Custap. Whereas this is 2 candies and a scale. And we get to keep the guy we use the scale on. So yeah, this is the best case scenario. As you saw, this got Stakataka. Stakataka came out. Stakataka sees that it has a fast kill on Rhyperior, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, with Heavy Slam, I'm pretty sure it has fast kill on Rhyperior. It comes out, maybe it's just fast kill damage. I don't know. It doesn't matter. What ended up happening is that Dragargle. So in this scenario where we're right here, I think we always close combat the Stakataka. As I said in the video, from 90%, we are dead to like 50-50 rolls of crit on Dragargle's Sludge Bomb. And it's obviously all rolls of crit into poison would kill us. And I think some rolls of non-crit poison into 2 ticks of poison would have killed us because we detected the next turn. But so what we did was the correct play. I think on this turn we actually got the worst possible option. I mean, of the 2 options, there's not really an awful one, but Dragulge attacking into us is pretty bad. Not bad, but it definitely is worse, right? We kill Stakataka. Rhyperior always kills Dragulge because it clicks high horsepower on both slots. Mega Shark in. If Dragulge had attacked Rhyperior, Shark would see a fast kill here. On this turn, it doesn't. It sees a fast kill on me. So basically, whoever got damaged by Dragulge gives it a fast kill on this turn. And then I either detect or I just CC it if it doesn't have a fast kill on me. So on this turn, the plan was to detect, to let Rhyperior Stone Edge, and then Mach Punch. If Rhyperior had missed the Stone Edge, we would Mach Punch and sack to get chip, and then we would Mach Punch with Conkeldurr for kill. That's what would have happened in that scenario. So yeah, that was sort of the overarching plan. I think that the scenario, there was only a few of those that had lose cons. It's just that we had to move around the risk a little bit. There were only a few of those that had like genuine lose cons, in my opinion. The scenario where, like I said, where Dragalge gets left on the field without Rhyperior is a really scary one, because Venusaur doesn't have a frag on Dragalge, but I still think that one would have been possible. We would have just had to sack down the line. We would have definitely had to sack up on top in that scenario. So yeah, I just wanted to hop on here and yap a little bit about what the plan was, because it went so freaking well that it looks like I'm just like getting blessed. But I promise I had lines on I had turn 3 and turn 4 planned out for every single one of these scenarios. It's just that we got like maybe the best possible one. I do want to mention, so the chance of Stone Edge missing is the way that so Stone Edge can miss into Rotom, right? And that would be a pretty shitty scenario. The way that I thought about this, or the way that I rationalized this risk, is that Focus Blast has an even higher chance of missing Rhyperior, right? So those are like equally, like for each of us, for Archie and for me, those are like equally unfavorable scenarios. And while we lose a lot of momentum if he hits Stone Edge, it is actually more likely that Dragalge clicks Focus Blast and misses, right? So that's what I was thinking when I sent this. And it's probably honestly what Dexa was thinking when he designed this fight. Because, like, yeah, Stone Edge can miss onto Rotom. That sucks. But Dragalge can also miss into Rhyperior. And it's a 50-50 for Rhyperior to pick Rotom, and it's a 50-50 for Dragalge to pick Rhyperior. So that's kind of how I rationalize that risk, the risk of Stone Edge missing. If Stone Edge had missed, and also like if Stone Edge misses Rotom, we can still kill with Mach Punch, right? And then we're in pretty much the same scenario. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to go over all of the diverging lines, because I don't know if we kind of frauded it, right? We got like super blessed. Shell really locked in. I didn't even get to see the Mega Venusaur. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to get on here and yap for a little bit. So